Have you ever noticed how emotions have a temperature? Anger burns, anxiety simmers, embarrassment flushes, and even love, we call it warmth. I believe that your mind can literally change your body's temperature, producing real, measurable heat. Welcome to the strange and fascinating world of psychological thermogenesis, where the fire of thought becomes that fuel of the body. Thermogenesis normally describes how your body produces heat. We know about shivering thermogenesis, for example, when your muscles contract to warm you up, and non-shivering thermogenesis when brown fat burns calories to keep you warm. What you might not know though is that your psychological state, your emotions, your attention, even your imagination can activate the same systems. That's why when you're stressed, your heart races and your skin flushes and your palms sweat. That's not anything symbolic. That's physiological heat. Your mind has just turned up your body's thermostat. And at the center of all this lies the hypothalamus, deep inside your brain, your internal thermostat. When it senses emotional or mental activation, fear, excitement, focus, it signals through the sympathetic nervous systems, releasing norepinephrine and adrenaline. Your body responds as if preparing for action, heart pumping, blood flowing, metabolism rising. The result of all this is heat generation. So through emotion, you've not just changed how you feel, but you've changed how your cells actually behave. A lot of ancient cultures understood this. They spoke of people being hot-headed or cold-hearted or burning with desire. And modern science is showing this is entirely true. Graphic imaging shows distinct temperature maps for different emotions. Anger warms the face and chest. Sadness cools the extremities. Love and compassion radiates warmth through hands and torso. That emotional language was not poetic exaggeration, it was embodied truth. One of the most dramatic demonstrations of psychological thermogenesis comes from the Tibetan Tummo meditation, or the inner fire meditation. In the 80s, Dr. Herbert Benson and a team from Harvard Medical School traveled to the Himalayas to study this ancient practice. They watched monks sit in freezing rooms wrapped in cold, wet sheets and dry them with their own body heat, their temperature rising by 8 degrees Celsius. No heaters, no movement, just that breath, that focus, and that visualization. So what were they doing? Tummo combines deep rhythmic breathing, abdominal muscle engagement, and mental imagery. Practitioners inhale deeply, hold their breath, contract their lower abdomen, create that internal pressure. And when they exhale, they visualize a flame at the base of the spine, growing brighter, spreading warmth through the body. Over time, they've learned to merge imagination with sensation, and the body responds as if these flames were real. Modern neuroscience has shown that this activates the same sympathetic and metabolic pathways as cold exposure, turning your thoughts into thermal energy. So if you've been thinking about buying an ice bath, let me give you a cheaper and more convenient alternative. Not travel to the Himalayas, but you can do this in a safe place in your own home. So firstly, find a quiet place to sit. Sit upright, sit relaxed. Next, breathe deeply. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6 to 8. Feel that breath in your abdomen. Now, while you're doing this, I want you to visualize that warmth growing in your core, like a small glowing ember just under your navel. And with each inhale, see it brighten. And with each exhale, see that warmth spreading through your chest and through your limbs. Continue this for 10 to 15 minutes. You might notice some tingling, some warmth, some alert calmness. That's that mild thermogenesis, your body responding to that focused intent. And over time, you'll get better at this. And as a result, your mind-body connection will also improve. You're learning to have that conversation with your physiology. Now, while you're doing this, what's happening on the inside? So there's 2 types of fat, the white fat, which stores energy, and brown fat, which burns it to produce heat. Brown fat is dense with mitochondria. And mitochondria contain a protein called UCP1, uncoupling protein 1. When triggered, UCP1 releases energy as heat. Tummo activates the sympathetic nervous system, releasing norepinephrine, which binds the receptors in brown fat cells and tells them to start burning. At the same time, your rhythmic breathing shifts the oxygen and CO2 levels, slightly changing the blood chemistry, producing that state of alert stillness. That physiological state between arousal and calm. So it's not a mystical experience, it's a measurable experience, and it shows clearly that psychological states can directly shape biological outcomes. And really, that's something that we all experience. Think of stage fright. Your face flushes, your hands sweat, your heart rate spikes. Think of motivation, that internal heat when you're fired up for a challenge. That's psychophysiology in action. Your emotions mobilize the energy preparing you for life's demands. So your emotions aren't really private experiences. They're metabolic events, biological acts of creation. That warmth you feel when you care for someone is real. That heat of anger is measurable. The coolness of detachment has a physiological signature. Your mind doesn't sit above the body. It is the body. And there's a quiet power to realizing that your mind can kindle warmth even in the cold. That focus can create heat, and that calm can cool the storm. So self-awareness is not passive, it's an act of regulation. When you control that flame within, you stop being ruled by external fires, by stress, by fear, by anger. You become the spark, and you become the space around the spark. You're not at the mercy of your nervous system. You are at its control. You are, in many ways, its teacher. So the next time you feel heated in an argument or cold towards someone, remember, these are real physiological states, and you have the power to shift them. Through breath, through focus, through awareness, you can cool the anger, you can warm the compassion, you can ignite motivation. Your mind has the fire. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you control the flame, or do you let the flame control you? I hope you enjoyed listening to that. Make sure you press subscribe for more insights. Until next time, stay aware, stay present, and keep the inner fire alive.